Welcome back to Life and Style, and this is the segment Ask Pastor Chris. In this segment, we normally bring out topical issues and we discuss with the panel all kinds of questions that matters relationship. Today, I've got a panel of ladies and we are talking something so hot. It's sponsors. Would you have a sponsor? Are sponsors necessary? I've got these four ladies here to help us just get into the mind of a lady concerning sponsors. I'm going to get them right from the end of there. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Cynthia Iduna, a model, and also I'm an actress.
You're an actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you have a sponsor?
Why not?
All right.
My name is Shawama Sharon. I'm a model, a video vixen, and a makeup artist.
And would you have a sponsor?
Yes, I would.
You would?
Yes.
Okay. To my right, to my left, sir.
My name is Katiti Kiteta. I'm a YouTuber. I have a show on YouTube called It's Katiti and Keith. Yeah, and that's what I love to do.
And I know you wouldn't have a sponsor.
I would not.
You would not?
I would not.
All right. Aliane.
So my name is Betty Kithenji. By profession, I'm a communication and PR practitioner, but life got me doing event management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you have a sponsor?
No.
All right. Just to begin, who is the sponsor? Who is the sponsor? Yeah.
Okay, according to what I've heard, a sponsor, mostly it's an older guy, an older man, who is looking for a younger lady, because this is an old guy willing to give you anything you want, just wants to be seen with you, seen with a pretty young little thing. That's it. Yeah. It's a scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of arrangement. It depends on what the two of you decide to
agree on.
Yeah, you can. It depends between what goes on between the two parties.
So what's the part for the lady in it?
The part for the lady, I would not know.
Well, you said you wouldn't mind having a sponsor.
I wouldn't mind a sponsor, but I'm in a relationship, so I can't have a sponsor. There is no need for me to have a sponsor anyway.
All right. Edwina?
Yeah.
What's the part for the lady when it comes to the sponsor? Why would you look for one?
Okay, one, they're not nagging as compared to dating. Yeah, they're not nagging.
They're not nagging.
So, when you have a sponsor.
Okay, let's break this down. So who exactly is a sponsor that makes them, not nagging?
To me, I believe a sponsor is one older guy. Yeah, looking for this young girl. But the main purpose as to where you find that sponsors go for the young girls, you find maybe in their marriage, they have issues, so they go for
a sponsor is
this.
somebody who is married?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah, not really.
Somebody who has money?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. He has to have money, of course.
He has to have money.
Of course.
So, as a lady, when you're talking about having a sponsor, or you wouldn't mind having a sponsor, what would be the motivation behind it, apart from just the nagging? I don't. There's young people who are not nagging, I think.
Okay. The motivation, let me say, it's all about money.
Is the money?
Yeah.
You're looking for a comfortable life or something.
No.
All right, Katiti, you said you can't have a sponsor.
I cannot. And I think I'm going to answer the question you posed before. What is basically exchanged in such a relationship? I think it varies for lots of women.
Okay.
Because there are women who get, they source sponsors or they look for sponsors because they want emotional fulfillment from an older man. Also, that those who...
Can't they find that in young men?
Well, maybe there are women who don't, can't stand or can't deal with younger men because of what she said. Older men are more, emotionally stable. They're not too demanding, especially if they come from a married situation. They don't demand too much. And then there's
By
the
demand,
lady.
what do you mean?
Demand
time,
wifely duties, if I can say that. It's not too much, to be honest. What I know, a sponsee is usually just there usually for either physical enjoyment or a trophy piece, you know. So that's my understanding. And then there are those ladies who seek strictly financial support in exchange for either sexual favors or that's the majority cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Betty, why wouldn't you?
Wow.
And why do others look for sponsors?
Well, first things first, I believe there's no better money than money I've made myself.
True.
So that is one thing that would not make me want a sponsor. It looks all flashy, all marvelous to have a sponsor, all the flashy trips and going all around the world. But the fact that this is not your money, to me, it wouldn't feel as good.
So we're basically saying that a sponsor can't be broke, right?
Well, I would want to.
He wouldn't qualify to be a sponsor. If he was older but broke, he wouldn't qualify to be a sponsor, right?
Well,
That
let
would
me
just
tell
be-
you
yeah.
something. Richness and brokenness just depends with the lady. How poor is poor, how rich is rich.
And what her needs are in the relationship.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So probably to you, someone you cannot qualify to be a sponsor, but to someone else, you're the sponsor.
Can a young rich person be a sponsor?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't have to be an older person.
This is what I think. To me, if I were to get a sponsor, I would look for someone, first of all, yes, you need to have the money. And then a good sponsor will encourage you to be independent. A good sponsor wouldn't give you, fine, he can finance you, he can give you the money, but if it's all about I'll give her money to keep her away, because most of the time she mentioned some ladies get sponsors for emotional support.
Fulfillment, yeah.
Sponsors, my darling, they don't do that. That's why they take comfort in their money. Even if he says something to hurt your feelings, he'll give you money because he knows you want money.
Where does that put the lady? I mean, why would you subject yourself to all this kind of...
Treatment.
From what I've seen, basically when I was in university, I remember in my first year, I would see girls who are in third year having like these older guys. So I approached one, I'm like, what's all this? So she's like, you know what, at the end of the day, what drove me to this? She's like, I come from a very poor background. I'm here on a sponsorship. I need food, I need clothes, I need to, of course, we girls, women, we need to, we have this mentality, oh, what will people think? Or I have to get nice shoes so that people don't think I'm broke or something. So she sees this older guy, like, you can be my little piece and I give you what you want.
So who really is to blame then? Because when people talk about sponsors, the blame usually shifts a lot to the older person, like they're taking advantage of the girls. Is it possible that the girls are taking advantage of the older men?
It's a two-way thing.
It's a two-way.
As I said, it's a scratch my back, I scratch your back. You're taking advantage of me, I'm also taking advantage of you, you're giving me your money.
Cynthia,
Yeah.
Edwina, you would give your whole self to somebody just to get the money because you need a better
For
phone,
me-
you need to be able to take care of your bills and stuff like that.
For me, it's not all about the money. Sometimes, okay, dating a sponsor and having a boyfriend are two different things. You know,
Tell me the difference.
okay, a boyfriend is always nagging, will call you like 20 times a day.
So why do you have one?
No.
The points of one then.
They'll
Yeah.
call you like 20 times a day. They always nag.
Then break
They're
up with them.
Do
like,
they?
where are you? You see? But a sponsor, this is a person who has responsibilities.
Don't you think that is, yeah, you'll answer that, but don't you think that has got to do more with your personality than the other person? Because there are ladies who would want to be called like every 10 minutes, and they don't think that is nagging.
To me, that's nagging. I wouldn't want to be called like 20 times a day.
So
Then
what
why are
ab-
you with such a person?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, can I actually break down there's a question you asked that can young men become sponsors? There are two types of sponsors. From the research I've gathered, there are two types of sponsors. We have young sponsors and old sponsors. Young sponsors are just these entrepreneurs that have thought they've made it already. They have a very nice furnished house, but that's all they have. They can afford to go in drinks for weekends and all that. And they're not willing to settle down with anyone. The number two, we have the old sponsors. this is a man who is married or probably divorced, like they always put it, or probably we are not together. That's the old sponsor. So this man has like loads of money. He does not even know where to spend on. So he can just pick someone over there, spend on this young lady, get another young lady over there, and spend on this particular lady. You'll find an old sponsor might not even need sexual advances from that particular lady.
All
They
right.
just need the company, like a trophy to carry around and to spend time with that particular person.
What's their satisfaction
To the women or to the men?
to the men?
The
very
company.
Well, I'd like to say that in some situations, we can't say that there isn't a control issue because these men, because they're older, first of all, and demand so much respect, they really do like controlling these girls, to be honest. Of course, you can't be controlled without giving your permission. But a lot of these situations is that they dictate what you should do, where you should be. If, let's say, maybe you want to go and hang out with your friends, but this sponsor, okay, he gives you money for rent. He finances your life. He will dictate where you need to be sometimes. If he wants you to go out with his friends, and remember his friends are so old, I wonder how women actually interact in such really, there's nothing you'll talk about to this
Exactly.
man. What do you have in common? He'll dictate where you spend your weekends. If you want to go and, visit your family, he's like, you not spend time with me. And most likely the times you might want to spend time with him, he's with his family or his business, nini, nini. So I don't think it's a wholesome situation to be in, especially considering I feel if you're going to be with someone, the foundation must be love. It can't be finances because then the whole setup is just so it's bound for destruction.
All right, Tisha, what do you have to say to what Katiti is saying?
Okay, one, in the society we are living in right now, most people hide and want to pretend like society is okay. It's still the way it was, I don't know, a couple of 1,000 years ago, but
True,
it's not.
true.
Even people are going ahead to get into marriages for money. Someone, yes, I'll come to you, I'm like, pastor, pastor has a house to his name, he has 3 cars. I'm like, my children will have a house. You'll come to me, I won't really like you as a person, but I want to be with you because I see you like you have
Is it
money.
the sense of security that ladies seek for?
Exactly.
And
It's
Pastor,
the sense of
to be
security.
honest, this is not something that's new. I think that's something that we must always state categorically. Sponsors, it's just a word that evolved because, from the past, women have always been treated as commodities in families. If your family is
Who
not
is to
doing
blame for women being treated as commodities?
it's the whole society, to be honest. 'Cause
What have the women and what are the girls? Because you see, right now, the sponsorship thing, it's a lot in a place like the universities. You expect that by their education, they're more empowered, enlightened, they're supposed to make better decisions. But they're the ones who are mentioned the most when it comes to matters of sponsorship. So who really is supposed to be blamed when it comes to matters of how society views ladies?
It's both sides, to be honest, because as we've stated, it's not something that started the other day, but we always look away when we do see these situations happen. Can I give a scenario like in a family? Let's say, like what she said, you come from a background that, your people are not enabled to provide everything. So they sent you to school in Nairobi and they've just given you school fees. You're telling me they don't know where you'll get the rest from, and on top of that, they still call you at the end of the month so tutumie pesa ya unga. Send, where is that supposed to come from? And they know you're not working, but they expect the money. It's a very hypocritical situation to me because they love casting blame on just the 2 sides of the coin, the man who's engaging the woman and the woman who's engaging the man. But how about the other people who play into factor of why these people do these things?
Well, I'll come back to you. Cynthia, tell me about the risks that come with a sponsor. Don't they matter?
The risks.
If I have the money to get the girls that I want, why would you think it's only you who's in my life? And there's enough ladies who are looking for the money, they're not looking for the affection. So probably I have 7 of them. The risks involved, don't they matter?
Of course, they do matter.
Yeah.
And when you have a sponsor, be ready for anything. You be ready for anything because you're not the only chick he has in town. And secondly, the wife, if he's married. But most sponsors always say they're not married, which you can't know whether it's true or false.
Would you believe that, Betty, if you met, okay, I have a ring on my finger, but if I didn't have this ring at my age right now, would you believe that I wasn't married?
Can I tell you something?
Right.
These ladies do not even care if you're married or not.
So she's not telling us the truth, right?
They're just interested in your money. And she said that earlier on, that whatever they're interested in you, their motivation is money. So whether you're married, whether you're lying to them, whether you're telling the truth, doesn't really matter.
If you have a sponsor, would you still be allowed to have a boyfriend? Would he allow it?
First of all, I think it's very disrespectful. If you are going to be in a relationship, you choose to be in a relationship. This is a person, first of all, the problem with society right now is we have moved to a point that it's okay, we are just dating. It's nothing. Dating right now in the society
There's
we
no
live in.
commitment to it.
There is no commitment to it.
Let's add to what she said, the health factor. Let's add to this. This man is probably 20, 30 years your senior. He gives you a child. Very low chances he will actually, see that that child is legitimately his. And even by the time he does, he might be too old to take care of that child with you. You're bringing in to this situation someone who never asked for it, who doesn't deserve it. And it's just adding mud to more nonsense. And I just wonder why, when you get into such situations and you're not wearing protection when you're getting down, as she said, what are you doing? Why are you not protecting yourself? Yes, it's about money, but we shouldn't be desperate. Indeed, let me put it like this.
Can that relationship survive without intimacy
And
with the sponsors?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's like 2% of
cannot
sponsor
survive.
relationships that
survive
don't
without
cannot survive.
that go without
Okay.
sex.
Because simply at the end of the day, he'll give you the money, he'll give you what you want.
And he wants your body.
At the end of the day, he wants to go back to his friends and brag. This is an old guy, 50s, 60s, and then his friends are looking at his old wife.
So the one who's being sponsored,
Yes,
there's no
so-
difference between the sponsee and the mistress.
Yes,
No, really, there
because
isn't,
at the,
especially if they're
at
married.
the end of it all, that's how it begins. That's how mistresses are made.
Yeah.
But actually,
Yes.
I'm thinking, we all say that slavery ended in the European times, but I think this sponsorship kind of thing is slavery.
It is?
It is. Honestly, it is. Because men take advantage of the fact that these ladies need money.
I'm
But
going
you
to
have your
throw in something that is, I'm just going to throw in something. If the sponsor and the sponsee, their relationship is just about, I give you the money, you give me your body. What's the difference between that and a commercial sex worker?
There is actually no difference. Because at the end of the day, that's how he looks at you. He pays for the service.
He pays for the service.
That's why he gives you money at the end of the day. At the end of the day, he's not giving you money. He looks at you, he's like, my beautiful flower, let me bless you. No, he's giving you money because you're going to give him a service at the end of the day.
I think that's a bit too extreme. Commercial sex workers actually proclaim, decree, and go and start,
Exactly, yeah.
register themselves as a business. Those who as in for them, that's a job.
Yeah.
Very rarely will you find a sponsor saying, "Oh my God, Napoa Pesa, I'm giving out this body of mine." I don't think it happens like that. Let's be honest.
There's a
But
difference.
Theoretically,
that's the
is.
situation. But if we were to ever say that, then you know what? People who date, don't you think that an exchange of, in relationships,
Look at the motivation. Look at the motivation. Just break it down, bring it down to the bare minimum.
that's true.
What's the difference?
Then what's the difference between two people in a healthy relationship? Because when a man is treating you, let's say, yes, you're working on, you're not a sponsor, he's not your sponsor, but he takes you out for dinner, he takes you out for movies.
Is there a difference? Okay, I'll take you back to something. We were talking about, in our first segment, we were talking about alcoholism. And my point is this. Is there a difference between being addicted to third generation alcohol and being addicted to vodka?
No, there
Yeah.
isn't.
It's an addiction.
There's no difference.
It's all,
Addiction.
it's
an
all
addiction.
basic.
The effects are the same.
Yes, so there is no difference then in the motivation.
At the end of the day, the motivation on the lady's side, it's the money. On the guy's side, he wants.
So would you still want to have a sponsor? Would you want to be considered as somebody who would throw yourself out for the money?
For me, I don't
wouldn't.
believe a sponsor it's all about sex and everything, because I've seen a girl who has a sponsor, and the sponsor lives in Migori. She lives in Nairobi. You see?
How
And
do they
this
relate?
too.
How
Okay,
do
that's
they
why I'm saying
function
it's
as
not
a
all about money.
Long distance.
That's why I'm saying it's not all about the money. These people meet once a year, sometimes once a year. Like this year, they've met once.
But there must be
But the
something
man
in
always
the
sent
relationship.
money to this lady. The man is the one who caters for everything this lady does, and she's in university. You see, at the end of the day, this man caters for everything, but not in exchange of sex.
You know, I'll tell you something about men, and you've got to understand that. Men are like leopards.
Exactly.
They can sit on the tree for a very long time without you knowing that a man is on that tree. and men don't make investments where they do
For
not
nothing.
expect to get back dividends from it. Never be fooled about that. When the man sets his eye, and men are not, they're not 360, they're not circular in vision, they're very linear. That when he sets his eye on something, he wants to accomplish that. There will be a goal. The moment he accomplishes that goal, he is through with it. So when he sets his eye on you, he's not being philanthropic. I've got to help the young girls out of there. He's not just feeling like he has money to throw, and so he has a lady in Nairobi and I'm in Migori, and who do I support? You know, I would understand that if he was doing that to a family member or somebody who's
he's your
disadvantaged
father,
or somewhere.
Or an uncle.
But wherever he's doing that, like in this case, there is a catch to it. And that catch will only be revealed in time. So I wouldn't believe that there are men who are just throwing out their money out over there. I want all the young ladies to listen to me out over there. I don't believe that anybody's giving you money for free out over there. There's a catch to it, and one day the leopard is going to pounce.
Can I just
Some are
add
just
something?
there for peace of mind.
How
Yeah,
sh-
some are there for
But
peace
there's
of
an end
mind.
game
I
to
mean,
it.
how sure are you that time they meet once? How sure are you nothing happens? He's a man.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
are always-
It's not all about sex. You see, it's once. Yes,
She's asking
it's
you, how
once.
do you know it's not
Okay,
like she's
you
not
said
lying
they
to
meet
you?
once.
If you want to continue with this conversation with us, hit us on Twitter at KTN_Life_Style, the same for Instagram, and then KTN Life and Style on Facebook. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style. I want your final thoughts as we wind up.
So, well, first thing, I would want to add that whatever fuels this sponsorship kind of issue, I think nowadays men are not taking up their responsibilities. That is why you'd find a young lady going up for an old man, because these young boys feel like it's too much weight to take care of a woman.
Could it just be a matter of they're not yet established? Could
As
it be a
much as
matter
they
of
are
a
not,
stage?
as much as they are not, the little you have, how do you look at it? How do they look at the responsibilities? So at times I wish I was born in our mother's time of age, because I think our fathers really used to take up their
You're born in a good time.
responsibilities.
Katiti, your final thoughts.
I just like to say that these ladies, you know what they're doing. I just hope you really take care of yourself, you know, your well-being, your mental state. If a man doesn't allow you to use protection when you're doing what you're doing, find another one. If you know, having a sponsor is your thing.
All right.
My final thoughts is to anyone, to all the ladies looking for sponsors, if you're with a sponsor, take care of yourself. Mainly, make sure you have a sponsor who encourages you to be independent, because you can't depend on a man's money for the rest of your life. You get an opportunity, because we have ladies who get offered jobs. Oh, there's this job, you want to go for an interview. Oh, I have my muzee, he'll pay. You can't live off a man for the rest of your life. Go out, get what you're getting for yourself. Even if that man leaves yourself, you're in good health, you can still continue with your life and support yourself.
All right, Edwina.
Yeah. Okay, for me, I'll say that, okay, I won't judge the ladies who have sponsors, but all I can tell them is that when you're into this thing, go into it with your brains. Don't go there empty-minded, because at the end of it, it's all about your life.
Well, you heard it from them. I've got very different views. I will tell you, leave the sponsors alone. That's what it is about us, Pastor Chris. You leave them alone. You see, we've got to learn how to grow in relationships. One of the things, and Betty was trying to bring out that in the older days that the men were taking care, It is because that with the women those days also would allow the men to grow with them. There is enough good people out over there, people who are honest, people who will tell the truth, people who are working hard, they're very zealous, and they would love to be with you and share their lives with them, share their lives with you. If you would allow them to grow with you, and if you would be satisfied with where you are, don't compare yourself with anybody. There's a whole life ahead of you. You can grow into the things like money. There's certain things money cannot buy. So I would tell you, grow up your relationships. Break out of anything that puts you at risk and that would hurt you. If you want to be part of this panel, write us on WhatsApp, 0700 574747. This has been Relationship Wednesday on KTN Life and Style. Remember, tomorrow, it's Inspiration Thursday. God bless you.